Welcome back. Okay, Fixer. A couple of things I did to this chassis while you were away is I painted it. I had some red Rust-Oleum. I just did a quickie on it. And I welded in some jack points. Now that we know the transmission's good, we're going to take the engine out. The transmission, I'm going to take those two sets of joints out, take the shocks off. We're going to change our brake lines, have a look at our brakes, all that jazz. I've got some parts coming, so I don't know how long it might be a week on this before I even get it out. It depends on how long the parts come. I don't know. All right, first thing we need to do is get that engine out of there, and then we'll disconnect those CV axles, put them aside, and we'll label them left and right, inboard and outboard. That way they go in the same place. Don't think it's going to matter, but that's the way I'm going to do it. All right. Let's have a look at those CVs now. CV joints. Now, these are kind of a touchy subject, so let me get into it. Are we going? Yeah, there we're going. These are kind of a touchy subject because I see so many people booger them up and turn around and then they buy these Chinese units that are worthless. Your original joints, it's like a starter. I've never replaced them, ever. I've never had one bad, ever, as long as I had grease in it. I can't think of when I could. And the only thing I ever did is put boots on them and grease them. Now I have had experiences with the Chinese stuff and the aftermarket stuff, and it's just not as good. Essentially what you want to do is you're going to have to pick out all this crap that's in there because you get filled up with crap pretty easy. There's 6 bolts on each one of these. I think there's 6. And they have got a special spline. It's double square. No, triple square. It's something that Volkswagen came up with. I've got a set of these sockets, but I bought this from the Snap-on dealer way back in Nam when he was visiting our shop. And so you can put that in there. And the whole thing is, this takes a long time. And don't use air stuff either because you'll feel it slipping and you'll just booger it all up. Work now? There it is. Had to give it a little wake-up call. What's wrong with these? Well, the boots are starting to rip, and I'm just going to make them really nice. Okay, they'll come off. Each one of them will come off with a little clamp. There'll be a little clamp, kind of like a connector. And underneath each one of these screws is a little washer. And the little washer goes a certain way. Leave it to Volkswagen. We'll see if these have been off before. If they've been off before, they'll be missing washers and all that jazz. And the little washers help keep them in place, locked on, kind of like a lock washer. Okay, both of these have the washers, and both of these have the little plate. Sorry if my big head gets in the way. Okay. And so let me show you the orientation of this. There should be some little grooves on the outside of this, and I can't see them. But they go towards the bolt side, towards the head of the bolt. If you look at that very closely, I can just barely see them with my magnifying glasses on. It has some little grooves, and they go that way. Actually, they're grooved both ways. They are grooved both ways. I thought they were just grooved one way, but I was wrong. They are grooved both ways. So don't lose those little washers. So it doesn't matter the orientation. Maybe it matters the orientation. I don't think it does. But that's how those things come out. So let's take all these out. So this is going to take, I'll probably come back to you tomorrow. Ha! I got working on those CV axles and I noticed that, oh my God, I hadn't taken my axle nuts loose yet. Jeez. You know, and that's like the gland nut. It's like trying to get those things off. It's almost impossible. Well, I'm sure, because this has been sitting outside for so long, and I don't have any kind of fancy schmancy I don't have any kind of fancy schmancy impact. All I have is tools. I'm gonna have to put the tickle stick on it. So let's give it a little tickle. Now, when you tickle these, you take all the tempering out of them. So buy new ones. They're cheap. And they're available on Rock Auto. If you tickle it a lot, it turns red. Like I said before, a big hammer, a set of torches, and a tie rod separator. Those should be your first three new tools. If you're starting out, don't go into Lowe's and buy some basic tool set or something. That can all come later. What you want is one of these. Because with one of these, you save a lot of trouble. Alright, that's tickled enough. Now let's put the big one on there. And I've got this bar there that's ooh, that'd clip it right in half, wouldn't it? That'd be good. Shake hands with danger. Oh, did it budge? Oh, it's budging. It's like, nope, it's not budging. Let me get up on it. See what happens if I stand on it. If I here, let me use the camera tripod as something to steady myself with. Jeez! There she is. Something happened. Oh, something happened indeed. Okay, let me get back with you, okay? Ain't nothing worse than having to fix your shit before you fix your shit. Nice and straight. All right, let's put some, let's put a little zap on that with the, let's put a little bit more metal on that and see what we can come up with. Oh, boy. Don't pay any attention to the noises this welder makes. Well, I never liked that thing anyways. It's a beautiful piece of 3/8 plate with a lot of nice holes in it. And a cheap piece of tubing welded to it. It needs to be 4 foot long, and it needs to be a lot heavier duty tubing. Anyways, I welded some pieces on there. Once again, one more time. This time I'm going to get it I'm going to take it a little off. It's going to be really tee-hee. Oh, look, it's smoking. It wasn't smoking before. Now it's smoking. Look at that smoke. Smoking. All right. Uh-oh. Bending again. Let's tell you what. Let's tickle that with a chisel a little bit. Train. Oh, look at that smoke. It's smoking. Look at the smoke. Okay, we're gonna let that sit there and chooch for a little bit. And I might put some more beans on it, see what happens. I'm gonna go on the other side. Work on the other side for right now. Wow. I can't work on the other side. I don't have a jack. I don't have an extra jack. Ah, finally. There we go. There we are. That's the way. I need to get a new impact. One of those new fancy ones that really hit hard. The problem is they're $400. Okay, we got her loose. So now, get back up. We put the wheel on it. Go to work on the other side. Woof. All right, I got those loose. Now back to the CV joints. Let's get all those bolts out. Hear the birds? It was beautiful today. Almost 60. I think 59. Sunny. Wonderful. Cold front coming in tonight. Maximum tomorrow is 28. Anyways, okay, I got one left, and what I've done is I have an older tool that's kind of wore out. Splines are kind of wore out, and I you couldn't get it in there and get a good bite on it. It wouldn't turn. So I've been putting this new one in there. I have a set of them from Cornwell. And you too can have a set of these for ridiculous what I paid for. That bolt right there didn't want to come out for some reason. I don't know why. This one doesn't really want to come out either. I already had that one loose. Oh, I got one more. Can't imagine being in a pinch doing these things like you had to. Because this takes forever. Is there another one there? No. Okay, and when I clean that up, it's left side, outer, and inner. And when I clean these up, I'll mark them properly so I'll know that each joint fit that spot. Okay. Next, I'll take this transmission out. Taking the transmission out is pretty straightforward. I start by disconnecting these back here and my shift bushing. Incidentally, this shift bushing is shot, so I will have to get another shift bushing, and then I work my way forward and take my Bowden cable off. And I had somebody tell me the Bowden cable needs to have a slight bend in it. Well, there's a problem with that because the Bowden cable is only so long, and you can't. It's not adjustable. It has to fit. It has to fit in here, and then it has to fit in this bracket, and it has to fit in this bracket, and it's only so long. It is what it is. It's a point from here to here. Curved or not, I don't think so, because it's only so long. The back portion here is held on with some big bolts. I don't know what size they are, but they come out pretty easy. And then this transmission has been out of here before because these aren't original mounts. So sometime, somewhere, somebody's had this transmission out of here. So we'll use those over again. Let's collect all our nuts and bolts before we pull anything. And what we're going to do is we're going to take this out, clean it all up, have a good look at it, probably paint it. Change the oil in it. And make it look really nice. Because the insides are already really nice. I'll put this on a pump cart later. But for right now, and these things weigh a lot, so I gotta think about what I'm doing here so I don't pull my shoulder out of joint. Yeah, there you go. Collect all my washers here. So I've got plenty to keep me moving. I got a lot of stuff to clean up. So I'll push this back outside, and because it's cold out, this will give me a couple of days, and I'll be able to use those couple of really cold days to take and clean this stuff all up. Then we'll go back into it and we'll look at brakes and stuff like that. Okay, let's get cleaning. Yuck. What a thankless job. This is the transmission I got on this cart. If you look closely at this, mount, it's cracked right here. It's broken right there. So I've got a new mount. So we're going to put a new mount on there. But first we're going to clean everything up. There you go. We'll clean everything up. We'll take our ground strap off and our rear mount. The front mounts looked pretty good. I think this is the original one, the original mount. And a lot of the times, you know, as an upsell, a shop will say, well, you need new transmission mounts. And they just do the front ones just to do them. And the customer doesn't know he has 3 mounts. So I think that's why the front ones were changed. So let's see, that's got to come off. It should come off up there. Like so. We'll have to clean all that junk up. And if you're ever digging around this molybdenum grease, it is the stinkiest, nastiest crap you can possibly imagine. But you have to use special grease for your joints. So, you know, just wear gloves, man, when you're dealing with this stuff, because it's just nasty. So, let's clean that all up. I'm going to shoot it with a little bit of matte black and make it look nice. And when we put it back in, we'll change the oil when we put it back in, because it'll be so much easier. It'll be on the frame. I drained the oil out of this, and it's really not too bad. It's pretty clean looking. There wasn't a lot of crap in it, and there wasn't a lot of crap on the plug. So I put it back in. I put the plug back in, and I put a wrap of Teflon tape on it to help it stop leaking, because they're, prone to leak a little bit. I gave it a once over with the wire brush or wire wheel. I guess you're not supposed to do that because it impregnates the magnesium with steel and it causes it to, whatever. And then I was careful around the seals, and I kind of used a screwdriver and chipped out everything, cleaned everything up. I need to go over it again. I need to do a real good cleaning with like some brake clean or some lacquer thinner or something like that. And then we'll throw a coat of black matte on it, and it should look all right. It'll look nice, and as a bonus, it is a nice transmission. And it's really hard to find original transmissions that Bubba hasn't opened up and boogered up. I have one from Don's Bus Barn, Don's Bus Box, Don's Box Bus, Don's, if you want your Volkswagen to clutch and shift like a Mack Bulldog, that's what I recommend. Don's Bus Box. That's what you want. Anyways, the original ones are hard to find that aren't boogered up, and they're going for primo money here. So, the original ones are the way to go. All right. A lot of people paint their cases and they paint their transmissions. The transmission and the case was made from magnesium. Magnesium it was made because it was cheaper to. It was a cost thing. It was cheaper than aluminum and easier to machine. And if you do it a certain way, ribs and stuff like that, actually stronger than aluminum. However, magnesium becomes brittle after time, so you give up. They didn't think their cars would last this long, I guess. But a lot of people, they paint their magnesium, and I don't think that's the good way to go around it. Magnesium has a big problem with salt and chemicals, acids and things. It eats it up really bad. So what I'm going to do is I'm working a little piece at a time, a little square at a time, and I've got myself a block of beeswax, and I'm running a little beeswax on it. Originally, these were these cases were plated with something. I gotta think about what it's called. It's a chemical. It's not a chemical process. Well, I imagine it is a chemical process. It's a come on. It escapes me right now. But essentially, if you warm the case up a little bit and you run some beeswax in this, you'll see it melt right into the case. Like it gets all in the pores of the case. And this will provide great protection. And I'm not getting it really hot, just warm, just so it all melts in. And probably get hell for this on my YouTube channel. But I think this is the best way to go around it, and it affords a lot better protection than paint. And phosphate is what I was looking for. They had like a maybe a zinc phosphate kind of a coating, kind of a green kind of a coating. I think it's what it was called, zinc phosphate. And that's what protected it. You don't want big blobs there in the center. Be careful, your toothbrush will get hot and it'll melt all the bristles. But we're going to do that to the whole transmission. Yeah, is it a pain in the ass? Is it a lot easier to go? Yeah, but this gets all the nooks and crannies and crevices. It really gets in there. And even if you don't have it right in there, the box will get warm from driving it. Soak right in. I think this is the way to go. You can do the inside of your bell housing also. Start from the top and work that wax down so it melts. You got to really be careful about the inside here because you don't want melted wax on your clutch, of course. So you want to mop up any pooling wax. You have to really be careful with this. The outside's not going to matter that much because if it gets hot and it drips off, that's okay. But you don't want it dripping beeswax on your clutch. So you want to mop up as much as you can. But this will afford some protection to the inside of this as well. And it's really pitted from all the use. There's a drain hole on the top of this. Nothing's coming out of this because I've drained my transmission already, but you got to be careful. Don't plug up your drain hole in the back. Excuse me, that's not a drain hole. Vent hole. All right, there it is. It doesn't look great, and I know you probably don't like it, but I don't care. I used about half of that block of beeswax, so yeah, turned out pretty good. Remember, when this gets hot, it will kind of melt off or melt in, and beeswax is hydrophobic, so of course water will just bead right off of it, and it will be there pretty much forever, unlike paint. So that's my 2 cents on doing that. I think that's the best way, in my opinion. We're also going to have to check this switch too, because replacing the switch while it's in the car isn't fun. So we'll try to figure that out. I don't know how we can do that. Probably I'll hook, put the transmission in the car and shift it. I'm still waiting for a shift bushing for this. So we need to check that out too before we get the body on top, because man, those are a monster to change. Well, they're not a monster to change. I don't like doing it though. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on these joints. And these boots have broken and cracked. And I have new boots. I have 2 new boots that Brother Brian sent me. Thank you so kindly. So I have those. And he sent me a whole bunch of clean bolts and washers. So there's 12 bolts and washers I won't have to wash, which is fabulous. I don't have to do it. I ordered some molybdenum grease online, and they send you little pouches enough to do 1 joint. I've also marked, it doesn't matter, but I'm going to put them back the same place that they were. I've marked it, left, right, outside, inside. You got it. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set my vise. This is a big, giant, greasy mess, so prepare yourself for that. First thing I'm going to do is wipe this away, and I don't think I can use circlip pliers on this. I think I have to use a pick. Yeah. You can booger these up really easy too, so be careful. Okay, I'm going to turn this little circlip. I guess I can't. It doesn't have, you can't use circlip pliers on. I'll have to get in there with a pick and pry that out. Let me get some tools. Hope you can see all right. I think so. I'm going to get on that circlip on the back with my pliers, with my little, like those. See if I can get that out of it. And I'm going to kind of pop that circlip a little bit, and then I'm going to get up underneath it with this pick. So I can't pinch my fingers. Like that. And I'm going to get up in it with this pick. Now, once I got it up like that, I can get a little screwdriver underneath it, and I can start working that. Maybe. Maybe not. It should go flying across the room, so. Okay. Let's see here. How about if I can clip onto it with a little pair of vice grips? See if I can pull it off that way. I think I'm going to booger up my little screwdriver. Or get a bigger one. Come on over there, you. have to pound this back into shape too, because I'm doing a number on it. Ouch. Yeah, I'm gonna have to give that a little love tap. Okay. Then I'm going to want to, I gotta take these off. Clamps off. And let's drive that joint off there, or drive that boot off there. It's too big of a hammer. There you go. So what we're going to do is we're going to change these boots, and we're going to clean and inspect our joint, and we're going to repack it with new grease. Okay, fold it down like that. I'm going to get in here like this. Okay, stay right there. Okay, stay right there. I'm gonna go get some air. A little cup right here, like a little washer, but it's got a swoop like this, so we're going to put the swoop up. Okay, we can take our, maybe, I have to cut it off. Okay, I'm going to cut this a little bit and prepare it, slide the other one on, and kind of clean it up. And then we'll have a look at this joint. I'm going to use a little silicone. Okay, let's figure this out. I think what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have some sort of reverse funnel thing that I'm going to have to jam in here to make to get this thing big enough to put it on here. So give me a minute. Let me figure this out. Okay, cut yourself your end out of your funnel, about that size, and you make it so it just barely fits on there. See that? You figure out which way that goes on there like this, right? So you're gonna push this in here like this, and it helps if you heat this up. So I set it over in the fire for a little bit, in front of the fire I should say, not in the fire. And push that in there. Yeah, probably not want to use that. Probably want to use that end on it. I got it sprayed with a little bit of silicone. Yeah, push that in there. Okay. A little bit more. And you don't want to go through. You want it so the lip is over the top of that. The lip of the rubber is over the top of the... Let's see if I can't get that in there. Probably make some sort of expanding tool for this. This seems to look pretty good. Yeah, keep going a little bit. A little more. A little bit more. Okay, once you got that around there, then you can take your joint and push it in here. Come on. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at that. Tell you what I'm going to do. Let me pull this through. Let me grab a pair of pliers really quick. I'm going to pull this through a little bit better. Not all the way through. A little bit more. I ought to read online and see how they do this, because this has been a booger since I began working with these. I haven't had any really good ways to do it. Okay, now that I've got that in there, now we can push that. Should go. Come on. Now, pull that out. Imagine we can push it more through this way. Let's see, that's not going to work. Let's see if we can do this without breaking the seal. Yeah, and just think, I only got 3 more of these to do. Oh, I see. That's a white right there. You go around those splines with something like this. I keep working that. There it is. Woof! Okay. You can stick something in there once you get that started and work it around like that. Probably not a good idea to use a piece of steel on those splines. And then you can work it backwards like that. And you should be able to. Yay! What up? Yeah, one of those. Okay, now I'm going to put some fuel in this and clean this thing all off and all out. So, be right back. Okay, here's the joint, and I've cleaned it up. I've checked the balls inside to see if they were all nice and chrome, and they are. I'm not going to take this apart because there's only one way it goes back together, and I don't know which way that is. So some people can take these apart, some people can't. I'm the one that can't, so I'm not going to take them apart. I've had too much trouble. If you look right here, it has a VW stamp and a 2. So these are original, or they're original VW parts anyways. You can tell the inside, the side that's going to the inside to the boot, because it's got this wear ring from that writing on there. And then also you can tell because it's got a wider place right here for the boot to go on, and this side goes in your transmission or your axles. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this back on. Wait, aren't you going to put any grease in it? No. Because I can put grease in it later. Why fiddle with it when it's all greasy? And you can do it later. Yeah, you can do it later. So I'll be able to take that grease and pack in there, so it shouldn't be any big deal. We can work that joint, pack some more grease, work that joint, pack some more grease, and we'll put the whole 4 ounces, 6 ounces, or whatever in it. Okay, let's take our axle, and let's see here. We're going to do one at a time, of course. Do one at a time. But Dan, what about the clamp? You got to take the other side off too. We'll slide 2 clamps on it. Don't worry about that. Oh, that was nice. No charge for that, sir. Okay, we're going to clean that off. And as you remember, it went kind of a concaved way, where it sat on there like this, so it has to go on there like this. Just get right there. Then this is going to go like that. Now, it's really easy to booger things up. So don't booger up your splines. Get a bigger socket to put on that, and I'll tap that piece down. If I can get this on there like that, I'd probably get it off also the same way without having to use a screwdriver. That's probably the way we're going to learn and do it next time. And here to clip in place. You sure don't want it coming off of there. That's for certain. There is a way, and the book tells you how to take them apart. I haven't studied that, nor do I really want to. Anyways, this fits right there, like so. And we'll put a little grease inside the boot as well, but we'll pack that all full when we're ready to pack them. Let's do the other side, and I'll be right back with you. Got both the joints on. They're both on the right way. We did one at a time. We did mix them up. We got our clamps, pinch clamps. Now we can put our molybdenum grease in. So what we'll do, no, don't do that. There we go. Squirt some around there, like that. And then I'm going to squirt some in my fingers, like that. I'm going to climb up underneath this, and I'm going to mash that all up in there, like that. Make sure to get it packed all up in those balls. And we're going to do the same thing with this. Mash it all in there really good. Pull that up. Invariably, you will get it in the holes that you mount the joint with. So when you put your bolts in, it'll come spooging out and present you with a big greasy treasure as you're putting it together. So it is what it is. And let's see. Now, is it easier to go down to O'Reilly's or AutoZone or Action Auto or whatever the places you use and buy a new CV set for $99? $99.99. Oh, and they're absolutely new joints too, right? Oh, that's great. They're new. They're not even rebuilt. They're new. Okay, look, if you have 10 pieces of dog poop, okay, that's exactly what you have, is 10 pieces of dog poop. It doesn't mean they're any good. The Chinese joints aren't any good. Repack your original ones. You know, these have been on this car. These are probably the original joints on this car. And again, I've never seen, I want to really work that in there. I've never seen one of these joints that had grease in it go bad. Ever. I never have. And I had a dozen of these cars and I've never seen one. I never had a clicking CV joint. I've never had, the only thing I've ever had happen to a CV joint is the bolts come out of it. That's all I've ever had on one of these. So, and all I did is made sure they had grease in them. So there you go. There's your big greasy mess. Now, we're going to put a screwdriver in that hole right in there. And we're going to flip this so that hole matches up. And then that way, the other holes will match up. Yeah. Yeah, kind of like that. There we go. What a mess. What a giant, greasy... Look at that giant mess. Here, let me put some of this under. Just let me make a little swipe under your underarm. Yuck. Okay. All right, let me get right back with you as soon as I get this cleaned up. God, I can't even shut my phone off. Just let it run. It's too greasy. Too greasy to even shut my phone off. See if I can get these off without making a big old mess. Off. Ah, rubber gloves. Remember when we didn't have rubber gloves? Okay, now I'm going to push this boot up. And you can see where it was riding before. See where it was riding before? Okay, now we're going to pull it back down. As we're going to want it in the same place. Yeah. Let's see if I can get it in the same place. Let's see here. Same place. Tearing it up. There it is. There we go. The same place. Now, if you don't have a pair of these, you need to get you some. I bought this assortment and these pinch clamp pliers on Amazon for 25 bucks. Pinch clamps are just so cool. Watch this. Watch how trick this is. Watch this. Oh my God, this is so, it's just so cool. Watch. Weep. All done. Isn't that cool? That's neat. All right, I'll flip it around, do the other side, and then we got the other joint to do too. So there you go. That's how I do CV joints. I don't buy new ones because you're just going to get Chinese junk. The old ones are a lot better. Well, I got to say that that's about the coolest thing I've seen. That's really neat. It's all coated with beeswax. That's good. That's great. Well, listen, I'm going to cut this video right now because it's so long, and I'm going to post it. And yeah, then we'll start working on some more suspension components in the back. We've got our CVs done and transmission's done. Now we can pull the chassis back in, pull the axles. We can grease the bearings in the axles, check out the brakes, replace the brake lines, wheel cylinders, and that kind of thing. Generally clean that whole mess up, make our parking brake work. And some other little things I've got to do before I can mount the body on. But that turned out pretty good, yeah? Okay, well, I'll see you in the next one. See you guys later.